fellas. Jackie,
Trying to cancel this Xfinity appointment. All good.
So, fuck, dude.
We are live.
IGC4 is a wrap. What a show. What a show, fellas.
Probably the best one that we've had yet. Everything besides the production end was the same, though, like Rory Connors said. It was all running smoothly, up to the minute, awesome matches. The production was just better than it's ever been on this one.
Yeah, Jeff, I don't know if you saw that interview, but Steve had asked Rory, what'd you think of the show? You know, have you competed here before? And Rory was like, actually, I competed on their first one. And Steve was like, wow, you know, like head and shoulders, you know, beyond the first one, right? This one? And he's like, yeah, well, no, actually, they were running pretty perfect back then, too, you know? So
yeah. I actually did hear him briefly talking about just that we were on time and smooth and that stuff, which is nice because, you know, Rory's not the most talkative guy. He's a little more reserved and shy.
For sure.
So to hear him, you know, lob some compliments was pretty nice, and he's pretty impressive.
John Connors was there. Again, nothing but good things to say.
Pause.
Yeah, man. Rory's awesome. John's awesome. Connors MMA is awesome. They've been super supportive. Super awesome in jiu-jitsu fundamentals. But the overall theme, I mean, it seemed like, I mean, we already know. We've seen it 1, 2, and 3, and 4 was pretty much no different. We had people saying a lot of the same things, like incredible environment. The vibe was right where they wanted it to be as a competitor, which I always say helps out so much, right? You know, you have these nerves going into tournaments, and then you have to worry about things not running smoothly or running off time, and you know, we're starting to breed a culture that even all the competitors, right, the night before we had 40 out of 43 weigh-ins on time perfectly. The next day, those other 3 came in, and you know, you're starting to see that a lot of tournaments, you'll be like, nah, they always run late, you know, and they're telling me to be there for 1:30, and you're like, I'll come at 4, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see that we're starting to breed this culture for the athletes, and keeping that bar very high for us, and we keep pushing through. But nonetheless, we did kill the show. But as always, we're just such perfectionists. We nitpick and wanna you know, tweak and see what else we can fix.
So I'll throw something at you guys. Mm-hmm. We had like a Pride Fighting Championships crowd, and usually do, where you can hear a pin drop, and it's more like focused on the action. And I'm wondering, do we want that, or do we want like a UFC where like there's a big pass or something, or a sweep or a takedown, and the crowd's a little more involved? I was wondering, is that a result of it's more family, so they're just kind of like hanging back, maybe not knowing the lay of the land of jiu-jitsu, so not knowing when to respond? Or is that just the natural vibe of the people together? I wasn't sure, but I was like, you know, the room loosened up as the event went on, and I think part of that is also me like engaging a little more. But yeah, I was curious what you guys thought about that.
Yeah, I like well, twofold. So yeah, the Pride crowd, but even the Pride crowd, when a significant thing like a guard pass would happen, you know, you'd get the little applause or the nice little spike in the audience there. But I also think that we're just 4 shows in. So we're also, you know, we talk about creating this culture with the athletes. You're going to start to get more spectators that know each other, you know, that have seen each other at past events, and maybe it grows that way. But I'm for whatever. I'm for either or.
I think the energy obviously wants to be, I mean, obviously you don't want out of control and chaotic, but I know from fighting myself in jiu-jitsu, when the crowd's into it, it makes it a little more fun. So, yeah, that was just something that went through my head is like just getting a little bit more involvement out of the crowd. Because there was some cool shit that happened, and the crowd was like, yeah. And it was like,
Yeah.
bro, that was sick.
Yeah. Two things. One, when Sweet Lou steps on the mat, it's going to be UFC every time. The crowd's going to be going wild. And the second one, like you said, with the competitors knowing each other, IGC5 is going to be like that a lot because the female community is strong, but like it's a lot more like condensed, and the talent is it's less spread out, whereas like most of the competitors are in the same types of circuits. So this one's going to be really good with the culture in the room.
Yeah.
Especially if we get everything together that we're working on, which I have things to run by you with like the commentators and all that stuff. So yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Super excited. Well, let's before we get into recapping IGC4, IGC5, November 5th, 145-pound tournament. Main events Fatima Klein and Alex Wynn. Fatima out of Black Hole, Alex out of Standard Jiu-Jitsu. It's already popping off online. That's looking exciting.
For sure.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that day. But like you said, it is a tighter knit community because it's smaller, right? Even when we're matchmaking for the women's match, it's a little harder because it's like a lot of these ladies have faced each other multiple times. You don't have brackets with 10, 12 people on a regular at a tournament like the guys do. So
seeking out the talent too, you just got to seek it out.
Yeah, and that's what we've started doing from early on. Even a month ago, we were already trying to reach out to many of the ladies, women, teens, all that, even before this event, and that's how we got our main event and such.
Yeah.
But it's exciting.
We had 2 matches booked, 2 female matches booked. We tried to get as many as we can for IGC4. They fell through, but
Well,
we got an all-women's card next, so
that's awesome. Yeah, so let's get into freaking IGC4 because that was, 23 matches, 20 of them end in submission, 7, I believe, or 7 under 2 minutes, and like 14 under 5 minutes.
it was 7 under 2.
Yeah, I think
I
it was 7.
thought it was 7 under 5. But you just said 14 under 5. That makes sense.
Yeah,
too.
it was much more. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll get through them here because I'm looking at them right now. Yeah, it was most of the card was ended under 5 minutes, which, as a production, we had to navigate, right? We're like, we're like
I'm on the mic looking at, we were an hour and a half ahead. I remember at the end of the night I said 53 minutes to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was doing, just thinking about the event again, I was like, I was actually an hour and a half.
Yeah. Which is, at the end of the day, a great place to be. We're worried about how early we are, which we'll figure out how to even that out because we do want a flow of the show that matches up to what we set in the beginning. I have some thoughts on that as well. But really, it was the product of people getting out there and getting after it. I mean, all those subs were crazy right off the rip. Boom, boom, boom. The first 4 matches were done in less than the time of one match. It was
less
about
than the
9
regulation.
minutes.
We got to the 3rd match, and I realized there was only one more match before we needed to take our break. And I was like, oh, no.
Bro, Hardy was the 3rd match.
Dude.
Hardy's Flying Triangle was the 3rd match.
Yeah.
That was such a good way to start out the event. Mm-hmm. That was fire.
Yeah, I mean, those first 4 matches definitely set the pace, right? So the first match, we had Joel Vieira out of 10th Planet, New York City, versus Frank Astrab of Black Hole. So newer guys, first match of the day, first match of the prelims, 125ers. And they set the pace. Joel went right after it. It looks like Frank's a newer competitor, and that makes sense for Mike Wacker to send him here. Mike wasn't here. Just get the experience, get that match in under you, and who knows? Well, we most likely know that Frank will turn into a savage coming out of Black Hole eventually.
He's from an affiliate, I believe. So obviously I match made, and when I put this order together, I put like guys that were from gyms that were active, guys that were hungry, and guys that have similar frames because it tends to just look more aesthetically pleasing. So you got 2 guys that are like the same height at 125, and then you got 2 guys that are like the same build at 155. We won't get too far into it, but actually, yeah, the first 4 matches, 10th Planet, and then Magro, and then Gustavo Palma, who John Calistine was in that guy's corner. So just the amount of talent early in the card, and then there was enough fillers to keep it still going, but just like spread them all out. And man, the flow of events in the beginning, and then Hardy hit that flying, and dude, yeah,
it was sick. Wait till we post that thing. On the pictures that were up of it that Susan caught on like the freeze frames or time frames of that thing was nasty. But Frank drops it to Joel in the first match. That one ends in rear naked choke in 1 minute and 6 seconds. So 8:54 left in the round. The next match was Matt Baptiste, and he hits a fly trap in 1 minute and 25 seconds into the round.
Buggy variation.
Yeah, a little buggy variation, fly trap style, like no arm in of the opponent, but he had his arms in. It was pretty cool. And then the third match, like you said, was Hardy Rodriguez taking on Alexander Cassiano, and Alex is good. You know, we didn't get to see that much of him, but you can tell he's good. Hardy's just a relentless passer, and then, I mean, you know,
a little bit more durable frame. I saw Cassiano at New Haven Open. He looked awesome. I believe, he did really good, but Hardy is just a little bit
and at the
stronger.
end of the day, damn, I got caught by a flying triangle.
I know. Yeah. He was just doing this,
Yeah.
playing guard, like opening up.
Yep.
I mean, I'm rolling with Hardy now that he's part of our gym. He's always looking to kill, and so if you have like a lapse in your judgment, you know, extending too much, he's gonna take you out. He's like, dude. I mean, I've said it before. When we were sparring, he threw a right hook, and he threw it so hard he spun around. So, I mean, if that doesn't kind of represent who he is and what he's looking for in all his matches, then I don't know what else does.
He broke my rib. He didn't break it.
Well, it looked like he might have hurt the other opponent's ribs too. He came in like butt bombing on the ribs as that flying triangle landed.
Dude, it was so amazing because I kept saying it. That triangle was locked up before he hit the ground.
Oh, he crushed him. It was like just the way he
just
landed.
Like hips.
It was like an alligator that flies.
Yeah. Boom.
I love Alex, but it's just so cool to see a guy from our gym, and just a guy that, because we know his pace. So, and he's from Ecuador, and this is one of his first tournaments here.
So it was his first tournament.
Yeah, his first tournament here. So it's just so cool to see him get that savage highlight, man.
And at the end of the day, Alex at 140, blue belt right now. We have so many possible matchups for him.
100%.
We can get him on another card.
100%.
Now, speaking of other blue belts and up-and-comers, this is one of your you've almost taken him under your wing, huh, Jack?
My dude.
David Krakowski.
Magro.
He faced Gustavo Palma, and Magro ends this with a triangle in 1 minute and 43 seconds. So another under 2 minute match.
Against a good opponent, too.
Yeah.
Right? That was where John Calistine was in his corner, right?
Yeah.
Kid looked solid. Or it's not a kid. It was a man.
Yeah.
Against a kid.
He's 17.
Magro is.
Magro, yeah.
Magro's 17.
Palma's a grown man, right? He's
looks
plus
like
20.
it, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
He's got a big build, and I could tell, like, I shook his hand before, and I was just like, Jesus. He was fired up to be here, and he's got, like, that grip.
Magro's the one of the guys that you should pay attention to. He's got a super cool attitude. He's obviously a gamer, and he's good at building his own brand, even though he's young. I was on Reddit, BJJ, and he was all over it and had tons of comments. I think at this point, the thread has well over 100 comments. He was, I think, when I had checked, he was like the second or third most liked video in a whole week on BJJ, and BJJ has 500,000 followers.
Reddit. Yeah, BJJ Reddit.
Yeah, so for him to be the most liked video or top 3 for that week is pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
So good job, Magro, on your brand building.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the biggest, because I read that thread as well, and you know, our referee, Eric Johnson, just kudos to him. He just killed it, did a great job. And that was the biggest talk in that thread, because, you know, Magro was about to get slammed, which is legal legal in IGC.
Legal.
Yep. You can do, and we encourage it.
Well, not only do we encourage it, we do have the nicest floating floor in New England, so you will be okay. But from an optic standpoint, one, slamming is awesome, and two, lifting people and returning them to planet Earth is also awesome.
Very awesome.
Can confirm.
Yep. So just to clarify that rule, slamming is legal except for spiking on the head. Obviously, we don't want anyone to get injured. Intentionally trying to spike someone on the head will get you disqualified. But, I've taken some huge slams on this mat, and it just spreads out. This might as well be a WWE mat when you're taking that slam, And, I mean, we saw in IGC3, John Marsh unleashed a slam on
to no avail, though.
A little bit more amplitude than this one.
Yeah, a little more amplitude. And I'm sorry, I'm not thinking of his name right now. The one he slammed.
Eric
Cruz from Black Hole. And, John Marsh was in a triangle, and he slams him.
I gotta say,
bounce.
At this point, though, we all know that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You're not going to slam your way out of a triangle.
Yeah.
Especially on a floating floor. But, I mean, just in general, unless you're on concrete, I'd probably go to more fundamental things. That's just me.
Yeah.
And that's so tiring.
Yeah.
I believe Eric kind of stepped in because, like you said, it looked like his head was leaning towards the mat, right?
Yeah,
so
and it might have been. It was the first one of the day, and he's referees a lot, and no one has slams legal.
The first slam of the day
usually had, and it was the first one. So he looked at the ref and was like, or at Jeff.
He immediately was like,
oops. Got it. Yeah.
But he killed it that day.
Yeah.
But he grabbed Magro's head. That's all he did.
No, he held his back too. It slowed it down.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay. I could tell that it slowed it down, but I thought that it was because he was holding his head and he just didn't want to.
He held the back as well.
Cool.
But you're still the best, Eric. Good job.
Yeah. Then next match was banger at Purple Belt 145. Joseph Mellon from Bancho MMA versus Thomas Wanowski of Whaling City. And Thomas takes that via armbar in 3 minutes and 36 seconds. So, I mean, we've trained with Thomas. He's trained here before.
Yep. Thomas is awesome.
Dude's an assassin.
Such a good submission hunter.
Yeah, he fits the
in a 5-minute round, dude. He'll tap me several times. He hit the way that he hunts for underhooks, and just the way that my body is built right now. I just cannot continue. If he gets underhooks, it's just a wrap.
Did Jack just say his lats are so wide he can't keep his elbows tight to his body?
That's exactly what's going on.
Okay.
ILS, invisible lat syndrome.
Yeah. I mean, fundamentally, sound so slick and can submit you from anywhere. Even that armbar was nasty.
Yeah.
Turned his knees out. It was just over the arm. He didn't have a crossface or a cross-body leg, just over the arm, perfectly on the fulcrum.
Was it a
of
pillow
his hip.
armbar?
It was like
similar.
It was similar, right?
But he had his knees turned in, his feet out. So Joseph Mellon's here, and he's going against his hip.
Breaking the hip.
And it was like
both legs weren't around the head. Sometimes pillow armbar, both legs are around. They were both on one side, like he said. Both legs were facing one way. It's like he was finishing omoplata. He was just compensating and just controlling the thumb.
Yeah.
And he was just
that arm got bent. I know we got to move on to the next one, but
tight.
if you watched the video, man, there was some hyperextension in that elbow.
Yeah.
I was worried because that was Joseph Mellon that stepped up on short notice.
Yeah.
And he had another match with Okobo later in the card. And as soon as that happened, I was like,
hopefully he's okay. Yeah. And kudos to him for stepping up and taking that extra match.
For sure.
We had two people do that, right? Well, technically we didn't need to. We had two people agree to that first.
Yeah.
But it keeps the card fully together. Ideally, obviously, we don't want to lose any matches, right? If Thomas was already signed up, he's selling tickets, right? And this is what competitors got to think about. Sometimes, you mentioned this to me, sometimes a competitor just sends a DM that's dropping out, and they think that's what it is. It's a DM. Well, no, there was an opponent on the other side that had fans that he's selling tickets to, that he's training hard for this match as well. And we talk about this all the time. We're trying to run a professional grappling circuit here. You got to conduct yourself as a professional. And for the most part, everyone did. We did have some very late drops for some very not acceptable reasons. And, they'll see that you're going to have to work yourself back into the good graces of getting onto this card, because we can't accept that. You have to set a standard, just like we talked about in the beginning, the weigh-ins and people showing up on time. And that's just one more thing.
They can't accept that. If they want to be, ranked in the country or in the world and stuff, then they need to be acting that way from day one. That's a very frustrating thing for me. I look at like the wrestling community. It's like those dudes show up to tournaments. They have no idea who they're going to go against, and they do it all the time. And you don't get like pullouts with that. Like these dudes just go. I mean, you look Spencer Lee with 2 torn ACLs. Like I will say the jiu-jitsu community definitely has to embrace that part a little bit more. Like I've noticed this across the board with multiple organizations. Guys will pull out. Who even knows why? But we saw a couple that we knew exactly why they did it, and it was completely unacceptable. So,
absolutely.
I just keep it at that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Next match.
I kept it at that.
Yeah. Well, let me just say one more thing. Not anyone individual, but when you're trying to build a brand, everything matters. How you compete, how you conduct yourself, and if you're going to drop last minute at events and compete in others, or drop last minute and it's, we all know the reasons we see them. It's like now, unfortunately, you've really ruined your brand, because we talk to the other competitions, and if they're like, hey, so-and-so, were they dependable? We're going to be like, not for us. So, yeah, unless you're really injured or, something tragic happens, you need to show up. You need to make it happen. Or, we've all been there.
Absolutely. Match 6. Match 6 was another purple belt match. 135, Joel Vasquez, teammate of Joseph Mellon from Bancho MMA, and then Hanan Jr. Quintanilla, he from Radius Martial Arts. Joel wins this via Kimura at 6:01. 3 minutes and 59 seconds into the match. I'll let you start with this one, Jack.
Yeah, Joel Vasquez is from Bancho. He had Matt Kaplan in his corner. Matt Kaplan's a well-known guy in New England, throughout jiu-jitsu. He had a promotion. I'm blanking on the name. Grappling Idiots. But yeah, Joel Vasquez is more of an MMA guy, and you could tell how fired up he was in the interview with Domenico. All he could say was like just about his game plan, this and that, and every question he just kept on running it because he was just so fired up.
Yeah.
And he was just like, man, everyone knows me as an MMA guy, this, that, and the other, but I'm proving jiu-jitsu, and it was just super cool to see. Quintanilla, the man, absolutely game competitor.
He
says yes to everything. Never said no to anything. So.
Yeah, he's a veteran of IGC now. Now he's competed in 3 IGCs. Unfortunately, he's 0-3, but he's run up against. I mean, the IGC 2. He jumped into a Shark Tank 145.
Dude, and he performed
against
so
a black
well.
belt. Against a black belt.
Against a really good black belt who competes at the world level. And Junior's a dog. We've watched him in Smokers as well, and he is trying to end you.
Yep.
And his gas tank is deep.
How old is he? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
He could be like 18 because he looks it. But
he could be
30.
24.
I think he's. Yeah.
Who could? I don't know. He's Spanish and did not age. I'm not sure.
He just got a haircut, so we just chopped off like 4 years.
Kind of like Dan.
Yeah. Grandpa Dan.
Y'all don't know, but Dan's actually 500 years old.
Immortal.
Yeah.
No, dude, I love Junior. I love having him on the card. IGC3, he ran up against a standard jiu-jitsu product who just went against Ray DeLeon for the 135 title.
Yeah, came up short against Ray. I mean, Yeah. And on paper, you see that Ray DeLeon's super, super talented black belt,
but Junior wants these reps. Like, it's super clear. He's not really focused right now on like the immediate like, oh, I need to win right now. He realizes that he's just building that base, that rep where he needs to just get in there, understand the match pace against good guys, see where he stands, look at the things he's doing wrong. I think he's only a blue belt, right?
No, he just
got his purple.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's okay, perfect. So he's basically going into his purple belt. He was taking the hardest belts at blue belt. So he's doing all the right things. He's going to be one of the top dogs around.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Next match was Aaron Rodriguez, right from here, Ascension Athletics, Hardy's brother. Blue belt 145 match, and he went up against Josh Lopes, and that was no easy task. This is our first match of the night, match 7, that goes to decision. A war.
Well, not
a war of survival.
Yeah.
But there was a few flip-flops. Like
but I mean,
early on,
generally.
For sure. Early on, Lopes scored some back takes. He had some good looks at, like, Kimura attempts. But eventually, Aaron used I think it was like a leg drag reversal. He eventually got to side control. That was at like 7 minutes in. And then Lopes, I think, passed him again one more time. But yeah, like you said, super awesome match.
It was nonstop. They didn't stop. Josh did not stop attacking the whole time. Aaron was constantly defending attacks from him.
But then immediately, then it was like if he got out, he was immediately trying to like attack Josh. It wasn't like he got out and then like, oh, let me catch a break for a second. He was like, no, I got out, dog. Let's go.
They didn't catch breath until the clock expired. When that thing went.
Hardy was screaming at him in the corner. So funny.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But I just want to say before, I know we're a little pressed for time, but Lopes, he's another guy. He just got his blue belt a year ago.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Lopes is a problem, and he's obsessed.
He is,
Yeah, he constantly competes. We can't wait to get him back on the card.
Yeah, he said next card, make it happen.
His whole undercard, now that I knew that it was stacked, but yeah, all these guys are obsessed.
Yeah, we're literally at the prelims still. And then match 8 came Robbie Grillo versus Alex Jojen from GFB and I guess Copperhead Farms as well. Robbie wins that, and that's the first leg lock of the day. He hits a knee bar in 1 minute and 8 seconds, and at the time, that's the fastest. Actually, no, the first match was still 1 minute and 6 seconds, but that was one of the fastest subs, and it was a nasty knee bar. And Jojen was attacking the toe hold at the same time, and it was just like, who can hit 5th gear harder at that moment to finish? And that was some extension on that knee. I hope he's okay. I believe he's okay.
Good. Yep. I talked to him. Yeah. He's good. He said it's all love. He appreciates it.
He's the man.
Yeah.
He's but also shout out to Rob. Rob took that fight on 2 days' notice.
2 days' notice. He was told that he had a match, not asked.
And he just came back from Colombia, so it wasn't like he was in good shape.
Yeah, he just came off vacation. That was amazing.
That was a gangster move.
We were on the phone. Me and Jack were next to him, and the opponent dropped, and we looked at Robbie, and we're like, Robbie, you got a match Saturday. He's like, okay, cool.
Well, first we looked at Jeff, so we didn't get the wrath of the head MMA.
Yeah, he's an MMA guy who I'm afraid, to have get injured.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's fighting in a couple months.
Absolutely. But he came up, showed up, looked very comfortable. He actually said he had some nerves in the beginning, which was uncommon.
Yeah, 48 hours.
Match 9, Quentin Pasley, Fighting Arts Academy, blue belt. This was a 210-pound match versus Spencer Manovich. Spencer wins that with an inside heel hook in 2 minutes and 28 seconds. And Spencer is very unassuming, huh?
Dude, and his personality. Like, he's funny, sarcastic, and he's not doesn't have a dominating personality.
Yeah,
and
just with the flow.
Yeah, he's like, dude, you saw it?
He showed up in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
He's like the perfect embodiment of the jiu-jitsu assassin.
Yeah, just gonna say that.
Yeah, he shows up in a Hawaiian t-shirt. He's got a smile. He's super jovial and playful, and then he goes up and takes out Quentin, who's a specimen.
Yeah, seriously. And did it you watched him. That demeanor didn't change on the mat. Boom, going through it, got into 50-50, takes the inside heel hook, and that takes us to Nikolai Tolarov versus Sean Grady. Nikolai representing NEU. This was a blue belt 180-pound match. Sean Grady right from here at Ascension Athletics. Nikolai takes that at 1 minute and 38 seconds via guillotine. That was interesting.
It was so I talked to both of them, and Nikolai said he was surprised how good Sean was at wrestling.
Yeah.
And then Sean used his wrestling to put himself in a guillotine.
Yeah.
Gets a double leg, locks up the guillotine instead of running to the side or backing out. He just keeps going.
It has to just be an experience thing, just getting excited when you get your hands together and just.
And he's a Marine, and he was in recon, So he's like a tier 2 world specialist, secret ops dude, and he doesn't know anything other than probably forward. Well,
he told me he was just a mailman.
Sean?
He's not a mailman?
Sean?
Ooh.
I don't think he's a mailman.
Oh, all right.
He's a correction officer.
This is new news to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
he's at like literally a tier 2 Marine, or a tier 2 soldier, which is like, that's serious stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they look great on the feet. That one, right up until the guillotine, was just all wrestling. Nikolai got in a few times, and Sean was, defended it really well. Kudos to Sean's wrestling. Nikolai coming off multiple competitions, super fight, IBJJF New Haven, and things like that. Next match, talk about specimens. Max Dolan. This was a 195 match versus Bill Sunshine Carroll. Last minute replacement. Bill representing 10th Planet Springfield. Max Dolan representing CT Combat right here in Watertown, Connecticut. Maxie D's the truth, bro.
He's really good.
2 years training.
2 years training, and
He was an Olympic swimmer.
Olympic swimmer?
Yeah,
He was an Olympic swimmer.
Makes sense, dude. He's
Olympic swimmer.
Those words were passed on to me.
I think that
Holy
means
shit.
Olympic,
Like
that's the events,
gotcha.
like distance or something.
Okay.
They almost like being.
I know
like,
he was a collegiate swimmer, right?
He
Yeah.
represented Spain in the 2016 Beijing Olympics. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was about to
like, what the hell?
I'm like,
Now none of this is adding up.
yeah. But dude, 2 years, 2 years training, and Bill Carroll, just had a surgery, has been way more active than Max, and
He got razor arm locked on that arm. And
Bill's
he,
a savage.
He posted about it. He goes, "I used a secret technique called tapping, and I'm totally okay."
I know we don't stay too long on each one, but
Good.
Bill is hilarious.
He's
Sunshine,
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
He private messages me funny stuff very often. I enjoy him.
He's good to have around. He's trained here a bunch too. He's a traveling nurse, so he can't get here as much as he'd like to. But he's doing what he loves, and then also about to see the world with his job. So that's really cool.
Yep, two super cool guys that both like to come and cross train here. Max is from the hit squad of CT Combat. Him and the Andy Normies.
Yeah, Max. I mean, we already messaged each other about some possible matchups for Max for
sure.
next time, and we were like, "Whoa, that'd be crazy!" So,
Yep.
Awesome.
Go
ahead.
I don't know about this.
Oh yeah, it was just random.
Y'all gonna have to tell me after this.
Yeah, absolutely. Next match was Adrian Gonzalez, purple belt 180, versus Long Duong from International Training Center. Adrian wins this by Estima lock in 4 minutes and 53 seconds. So we continued the trend of under 5 minutes. Dude, Adrian's a freak.
Can we just get something cleared up?
Mm-hmm.
Adrian's a very polarizing character.
Yeah.
Some people don't like him. I fucking love him.
Hell yeah. Hell
Dude,
yeah.
I don't care. He comes up to compete all the time. The dude is a fucking gamer.
For
And
sure.
like people don't like him because he's got a chip on his shoulder, but that's what makes him a killer.
Mhm.
He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's super, super passionate about what he does. He's always been this way, and he's kind of like very autonomous. Like he walks to his own drum beat,
Mm-hmm.
and I like how different he is, and I love that. If you guarantee when he's on a card, he's going to go to war.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always going to let people know, like, I'm the dog. I'm in charge.
Yeah. It was extremely interesting to see how good he is at, like, hitting the gas pedal and then punching the gas pedal. Because when he wants to take off, dude, I blinked and I missed his takedown. Because before that, he was just lulling him. We know he's a great wrestler. Long's got to know he's a great wrestler. And Long's probably like wondering, like, dude, when's this guy going to shoot? And then before you know it, boom, he just turned it on, down on the ground.
Really quick, what did Nick Ronan win here? The 170 strap?
Yeah.
So he took him out at the trials.
Mhm.
Gonzalez
overtime.
took him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ace took out Nick Ronan at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a huge win for him. Yeah, he always makes sure that his presence is known.
and he's doing it right. The way he's prepping for his game is so smart. He said it himself, like, I'm a wrestler, and I know that leg locks would be my issue, so that's all I've been focusing on.
Yeah, and that Estima lock was on, I think, from applying the submission to the tap was less than 1 second.
Yeah.
It was the Calvin Tasty versus Placido, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, last thing I'll say is he's one of those guys, like you were saying, with the punching the gas pedal. Like, he'll be slow, and all of a sudden he goes hard, and that's what he does with the submissions, too. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you don't think you're in danger, and then he's ripping it.
That snapped it on. That actually had concluded, right? You were on the last match of the prelims.
The big show.
Dude, this was there could have been no more better feel-good moment for IGC4. It was so amazing. Kudos to you, Jeff. You took on Sweet Lou Gomez from FAA. And, dude, when you look at the highlights of that and the film, every spectator has the most giant smile on their face. It was awesome. But
tearjerker of a moment. The video is just beautiful. You got to check it out.
The reel is incredible. Sweet Lou takes out Jeff Haddad via guillotine at 7:56, 2 minutes and 4 seconds into the match. Jeff, I'm going to say I'm pretty surprised by your performance or lack thereof.
I mean, it was short notice, right? You're not used to just showing up.
I took this fight like 4 weeks before the event. So.
Okay.
I was trying to give you a way out, and you just let it go right over.
Well, I don't really want to take the way out because Lou is a savage. No, that match was awesome. Lou suffers from a congenital disability. I won't call it disability. Congenital impact of his function. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's some form of a muscular dystrophy or CP or something like that. But the dude's had been training his whole, like, that barrier to function has never gotten in his way. He's been a wrestler his whole life. He still trains now. He's completely committed to the sport, and I think that this was why he deserved to be on a platform like this. It's, he does everything everyone else does. Why can't he have the same treatment?
Absolutely.
And to be quite honest with you, I'm not joking when I'm telling you, his grip and squeeze is insane. And Nick said it. He's like, he's in a constant plank because of the tetany of his muscles. He's always flexed. So, dude,
I can't imagine that. Yeah.
When he put on you watch the video, he's gritting his teeth when he's doing the guillotine to me. My neck was hurt for like 2 days. My upper trap like spasmed because he squeezed so hard. I didn't think it was going to be. I even said to him, I was like, it's time. And I thought he was going to slap on a choke and it would be like semi-reasonable. Slapped on that choke and he was like, what's up, bro?
Yo,
oh my God.
I'm taking your head off. Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, that's what jiu-jitsu is all about. Jiu-jitsu, we always say it's for everybody. AGCs we got coming up, right? We have a visually impaired bracket in there, which is amazing. We've teamed up with the No Limits Foundation, who looks to find jiu-jitsu opportunities for visually impaired and veterans. So it's really cool to partner up with them. AGC is October 1st. Sign up. I heard a lot of people waiting, and everyone waits. And this happens in tournaments. That's another culture, right? Oh, there's no one in the division. I'm waiting. Well, everyone's waiting. So just sign up so that everyone else can sign up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, I will make one thing.
Yeah.
Andrew Cherico signed up. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah, you told me that.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
It's like Adrian. It's like Adrian is Andrew Cherico light.
Oh, okay.
It's like Adrian's like diet Cherico.
I saw him compete. Yeah.
So yeah, you saw him compete down in South Carolina.
When you beat Esteban.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. So that match concluded our prelim. Then we went to our main card, and that was kicked off with Joseph Mellon taking his second match. This was the first one that he was actually scheduled for, and he drops a decision, our second decision of the day, to Okobo Apito, brown belt at 145 from Back to Basics. That makes Okobo 2-0 at IGCs. Awesome competitor. that's where when I saw Joseph, like, you know, yes, he was in a bad position for most of the time, but you could see that he had really good jiu-jitsu. And then that made me think, like, damn, Thomas, like, again, he just cut right through him.
Yeah.
But this match,
IGC4,
yeah,
send it.
yeah.
What, Okobo and Thomas Winowski?
Yeah, we talked about that as
Dude,
well.
I love that match.
So that was one of like the three. There was like 3 matchups that like are coming too. Like people that are 2-0 and 2-0, or people that are like 1-1 and like 1-0, and just guys that we're building up. It's so cool. There's like storylines behind it. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So cool.
You guys don't know this, but there's behind the scenes. We have some other things we're gonna do to help even pump this up even more. But Okobo is the man. I love his personality. I like his style. And that match was cool. I know we're trying to rip through these things, but they were talking shit, and it got the crowd going.
Oh, yeah.
It was very fun.
Which was awesome because, you know, day of show, we decided to put that mic camera or that mat camera.
Yeah.
And that happened right in front of it. You know, it was like
so
right
fun.
there.
It's on Instagram.
Yeah, that Instagram, that reel that Okobo put out there, you hear it. You know, you hear Joseph saying, you know, do something, bro. And he's like, come on, dude, I'm dominating.
He's like, what are you talking about?
You seen that
It
yet?
was like,
Yeah. No, I
Oh,
did.
you-
Yeah.
Okay, good.
it was awesome. Next match was Rory Connors, purple belt 160, Connors MMA, versus Chi Kai Lee from Broadway Jiu-Jitsu. Rory wins that by rear naked choke in 1 minute and 47 seconds. So
I don't
another
want to
match
skip
under
over
2
this,
minutes.
but can we say who we want Rory Connors to meet up with yet? Can we
fight?
Can we say who we're thinking about pairing him up with? Or we want to keep that quiet?
we've mentioned a few. I don't even remember that one.
Wasn't it Tellum?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was, right? It was. Yeah, it was Tellum.
Dude,
That'd be cool.
that match is arguably one of the best matches
Yeah.
in New England at
So-
that weight.
Yeah, Gal has asked for DeAndre. You think that DeAndre is not exactly at 155, right? No, sorry. Yeah, DeAndre is at 155.
Yeah.
Gal's at like 170.
Yeah.
Sometimes
But-
DeAndre
and then-
cuts, though. But the reason that I'm bringing this up is because Gal wants these high-level matches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to let Gal know of the legend that is Rory Connors, because maybe few and far between, like outside the East Coast, people might not know his name, but he's got like probably about like 70 matches like at like super fights. Dude, he's one of the best in New England for sure at his weight class. He's
Rory.
been doing it for, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
dude, he doesn't put himself out there because he's a reserved guy, but he is a killer.
Yeah.
And Gal is too. I don't know if that match is going to come together, but that is my, like,
That'd be.
probably my
You could
fit.
see that. Yeah, for sure.
That's
100%.
That's the match
probably
I
at
want.
165 if Gal can
that'd
get
be
there.
such
Yeah,
a good
because
match.
Roy's around there, and
Right,
Gal doesn't. Gal's been adamant about wanting matches at his weight class,
Mm-hmm.
and for sure, this is a super high level one right around there.
Yeah. Next match was our first heavyweight match. It was Damien Roberts of Essential BJJ and versus Kevin Wilcoxon of Endure. This was at 235. Kevin wins via guillotine at 4:04, so 5 minutes and 56 seconds into the match. Another tight guillotine that got a tap like instantly. He kicked it off with an arm drag into the inside trip and stayed on top for the rest of the match. Damien was looking to get underneath like a deep half, but Kevin was just spamming cross faces and keeping him flat on his back ultimately until he found that guillotine. Great match. We know Damien. We know what kind of jiu-jitsu he brings. To see Kevin come out like that was super impressive. He was originally scheduled on our first card. His match got dropped. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, Damien, props to him. He was supposed to fight Big Dan. He showed up ready to fight Big Dan Manitou.
Yeah,
So-
I don't want to make any excuses for him, but he was very upset, and he said that he needs to compete more because that what happened threw him off. He was like, yeah, my mind was all over the place, and I just couldn't get up for the match. So we've all been there. We've all had bad days. I know I certainly have. So Damien, we'll get you another match. You're on this card for good, man. We love you. It's not over.
Yeah. Next match was one of the more interesting submissions of the day. It was Giovanni Rosario coming out of Unity going against Kevin Wilcoxon's teammate from Endure BJJ, CJ Cameron. This was a 155 match. CJ's a purple belt. Giovanni's a brown belt. Giovanni takes this by head and arm choke from the bottom from like full guard off of a off of getting swept, right? From like
I don't remember exactly.
I believe CJ was rolling from mount, and it turned into a head and arm from full guard from the bottom, and he had a squeeze. That thing was tight. He had to have had a squeeze, right? We're finishing that thing like that. Yeah. That ended in 2 minutes and 1 second. Incredible match there. Giovanni seems like from his social media, what he was talking about, he's been dealing with some things off the mat. So this is like him getting back into it and fueling him. That's really cool to see. CJ Cameron, a beast, because he you can see he bench pressed Giovanni off of him a few times.
CJ's a dog.
He's a dog. So I'd like to see him get another chance out there, see what he can do and show what he can do. But Giovanni takes that head and arm, 2 minutes.
Giovanni's so good, man.
Yeah.
I was so happy when we put that match together. CJ's been doing a lot of tournaments at top level and just getting a lot of valuable experience. And it was good to have him go against Giovanni, who was coming off of a little bit of a break.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome match.
Yeah. Match 18 saw Mike the Savage Campbell. This is a purple belt 145 match versus Chris Milla out of David Branch Academy. He was, Mike was out of FAA. What do you guys think about this one?
I think it's pretty clear Mike, in the beginning of his MMA career, had not turned over the grappling stone. And, he was getting a lot of flack for it and was, suffering in his fights. He was getting submitted and such. And then he made it a very serious point to go fix that. He's been doing so. He won his last fight by guillotine. He won this fight by a rear naked choke.
Yep, rear naked choke, 7 minutes and 7 seconds into the match.
Yep, and he looked good. His wrestling looked good, or his defensive wrestling looked good. And he put himself in position to get that rear naked choke with an awesome back take. And I think Campbell's made it very clear. He is no longer just the one-trick pony. He's the total package, and he's a specimen. So wherever he intends on going, as long as his youthful mind doesn't get in his way, he doesn't get distracted, he's got a really high ceiling.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just the back take alone, that was like a redirection to jump to the back. Just showed very high IQ on the grappling mat. His defensive wrestling with that freaking guillotine just trap, high elbowing from everywhere was phenomenal. I mean, he almost caught an Estima lock that Chris Milla had to really roll out of to not get hit. A few of those high elbows were really close. Chris was, constantly getting attacked, but Chris's wrestling was nasty.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it was good, but there were no adjustments in the match. So my not concern. What I would tell him if I was talking to him is make adjustments as you compete. And if you've almost been put in a guillotine 3 or 4 times off your double leg, maybe go upper body, maybe go sweep single, right? Just looking at developing. He's young, right? So I'm old, Chris, just from a wise grandpa telling you, just change up your game. You probably would have gotten those takedowns.
Yeah.
He looked really good. He only surprised me because of the lack of footage on him.
Yeah, absolutely. Match number 19. This was a good one. It was Will Cho from the International Training Center. This was a purple belt 180 match. Jamie
awesome.
Nottingham, actually a brown belt at 180 from the Jiu-Jitsu mill. Jamie Nottingham takes that via ankle lock from 50-50 at 4 minutes and 52 seconds. This was a 50-50 battle the whole way.
I think I held my breath for 4 minutes and 52 seconds because I was not sure when the legs were going to go.
Same, dude. And they were both fighting so hard
So
for it.
hard.
And Jamie's so strong.
Yeah.
I refed his match at Rolling Stoners, and he put his opponent in an inside or outside heel hook, and I just got so close to his opponent's face, and I was just be cautious, be cautious. And then as soon as he tapped, I was just boom. Because, bro, if he didn't tap to that, he would have gotten his leg broken for sure.
Yeah, and it was
Not
interesting.
Will, the guy at Rolling Stoners.
Yeah, it was interesting that, you had this 50-50 battle, and Will, 100% game. He was attacking and defending right away, defending the heel hook really well, and somehow just left the ankle lock. And Jamie said, "Shoop," took the Achilles lock, finished it. It was amazing. that match. Jamie's really cool. I mean, his IG's Jamie Loves Martial Arts. Dude, this kid just came off of he just did a sumo competition like a couple weeks ago. He just loves martial arts. He does it all. Very cool. Look forward to having him on the card again. Will, same thing. Will looks good. You know that guy knows what he's doing. He felt comfortable in that 50-50. He was not backing away. He was attacking. Just got caught, and that was eventually somebody was going to get caught in that situation. They were defending, attacking the whole time. Match 20 was Glenn Pierce, right here from Ascension Athletics. This was a 170 match. He's a purple belt. He went against black belt Chris Rowan, owner and coach at Technique BJJ. Glenn takes this via heel hook in 33 seconds. This ended up being the fastest submission of the night. What can I say? Glenn was ready. I don't know if the stage for Chris, he was very excited to perform. Mm-hmm. We saw it on social media. Yeah. Thank you, Chris, for shouting us out. Thank you for being a part of the card. But, sometimes the stage is different because when he came out into that match, I felt like it was a little bit of reckless abandon.
He was so excited.
Yeah, and it ended up, Glenn's plan was to get underneath, and Chris kind of gave him that. And he went right for the heel hook, and that was the match. Not much to say there other than 33 seconds heel hook. Glenn takes it, Number 21. Now, we were super excited for this match. This was brown belt 185, Rashid Perez, who's awesome, super cool. I
definitely want him back on the card.
Definitely.
100%.
Definitely. But he just ran into an absolute buzzsaw, black belt 185, Mateo Martinez from Essential BJJ.
I don't know how he doesn't get more recognition, Mateo. Like, I love, you look at his Instagram, it's like regular guy. You're like, no, you're not.
I think he just keeps himself low key, man. Like,
bro,
he's a JT black belt.
Fucking savage.
He's winning all these tournaments. I think he's a finishers champ. Yeah, he's done a lot.
Yeah. The minute and 41 seconds that inside heel hook finish came, but his positional, he was in control from 5 steps ahead. It felt like
he I didn't watch the entire match because I was running around, things were happening. Mm-hmm. I looked at Rashid grab a Kimura. I feel like it was Mateo just kind of letting a position develop because he knew that it was a winning battle.
Exactly what happened.
Yeah.
He was not worried about that Kimura. The way he moved out of it was just like he knew he's been there. He was going to get out of it and go into what he wanted to do.
All I saw was my boy Rashid grab that Kimura, and I was just like, oh my god. But so Rashid's a guy that he's my boy. I've known him for a long time. I know all these competitors. They're all cool, the best dudes in the world. Mm-hmm. I've wanted to build him up. I knew that, but dude, let's just give him a savage matchup.
Oh yeah,
let's just continue to because he went against a JT black belt right away. He deserves those matches. So.
Oh, dude, and he was such a good mood and like.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So cool.
That was the match I was looking for.
Rashid and his teammate that came. I don't know if you met him, but he was coaching him in his corner. This jacked Brazilian dude, 185 brown belt.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to get a match like 4 days before. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
He was the 61st application.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we just couldn't fit him in. He's on the card next time too. He was screaming. He was like, "Boy, Rashid, boy, Rashid!" It was so cool.
Yeah,
that was
awesome.
One of them. Yeah, there was a lot of energy in that match.
So funny.
Yeah, that was very cool. Next match was the
co-main event,
and that was Gal Tellum, brown belt 175 out of Training Grounds BJJ. He took on Alex Sineko, FAA black belt. Gal wins that 3 minutes and 59 seconds into the match via RNC. Dude, the guy's a savage. Yeah. Alex is great too. Great legs. His entries were nasty.
Yeah.
Alex broke a guy's leg bad like 3 weeks ago.
He did. I saw it live. We both saw it live.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Gala is one of those guys. He's on such a good trajectory right now that he is going to be really, really hard to stop unless you're a world-class brown belt or a world-class black belt. If you are, nationally competitive, or if you're regional competitive, Gal is probably not the best match for you. But if you're nationally competitive, that's where Gal is right now. Gal is killing it.
He's made all the right moves too. He's just building himself up to such in like the good way. Well, he's competed like exclusively at our tournaments
right now.
Like
he just said that to me too. He's like, "Listen, I'm only trying to compete for you guys." I was like, "Cool."
He came off of a bit of a break, and I had known him. He was a teammate of Chelsea Mappa, and I've seen him throughout the circuit for years, and I have always tried to make contact with him. So getting him on our tournaments is so cool.
Yeah, IGC3 was his return after like a 3-year layoff.
Yeah,
and he got the W there against Rob Best, I believe, was it?
Yeah. Rob Best.
Okay.
He reminds me of Fabian Ramirez in the sense that like Fabian's original, I competed against Fabian. His like initial purple belt and was kind of quiet, and then Fabian's brown belt, entry was huge, right?
Yeah.
He won worlds and he's won a bunch of other things now, and I that's what I see like Gal doing. Gal was kind of quiet on that purple end, and now Gal at the brown belt right now is just a fucking savage.
At AGC1 back in June, Ascension Grappling Championships, he took out Vinicius de Jesus, black belt.
Specimen, who's competed at CJJ Worlds, fought in Bellator, has competed everywhere.
And that was a nasty match. The pictures from that match were incredible. Susan, again, incredible photographer.
Probably one of the best.
And then it was our main event. And this one, let me tell you how the morning went. I woke up to Nick Newell saying he had a staph infection.
That was with the phone call I received. Yeah, that was I was getting in my truck.
Yeah. So
for the morning. That
morning we lose our main event. And I'm figuring what we can do. I reach out to Big Dan Maniso and see if he wants to take on Will. Actually, I'm sorry, that went the other way. Big Dan he saw the Nick Newell post that he was out, and he said, I'll take that Will match.
Yeah,
I said, let me check with Will. I called Will. Will was like, yeah, man, I'm down, whatever, I'll take it. So we lost our main event that day, and arguably an even closer, bigger matchup, as far as weight goes.
It was an upgrade for sure.
It was, and Big Dan wins that via decision. A little bit of controversial restart after a heel hook that looked like it was finished, but Will said it wasn't finished. So the confusion was Will said he went to push the leg away, and the way he went was multiple times, and the referee thought it was a tap. Big Dan thought it was a tap. Will argued it. So, obviously the guy didn't think he tapped, so we restarted him, and, Big Dan back into that heel hook. I think after that restart, it kind of took a little bit away. He kind of let his foot off the gas pedal a little, because you started inside Senkaku, ready to roll. That could have been super dangerous. But Big Dan is a good guy. He's just, getting reps before ADCC. We're here ultimately to compete, but not try to end anyone's career. And Will Knight has a promising career in the UFC. So, that one went to decision.
Whoa. We need to drop a couple things here. One, Big Dan popped the shit out of Will Knight's leg. And
the most professional take on it.
Come on.
Versus the most raw take on it.
Will Knight gets his leg absolutely popped loud enough that everyone hears it. I make a comment to you guys.
And then he stands up and says, I love when people talk shit about me that don't know me.
Yeah, well, no.
Word for word.
What he said was, yeah, everyone heard my leg pop. I'm built different. I love when people talk shit about me. And then together they're battling. And at one point, Will says, my body's different to Big Dan. You're telling Big Dan, who's like 6'8", 265, that your body's different. Bro. Will Knight, and how about this? Will Knight drives in 5 minutes before his match. 5 minutes before his match. He's standing on the mat side, and I said, hey, yo, Will, you need to warm up? He looked at me, and he said,
nah.
He said, dog, do you think I need to warm up? And I was like, what am I going to tell him, dude? He'd eat me for breakfast. I was like, whatever you want, man. And he literally didn't warm up. He just walked on the mat and then went to war. And dude, Will Knight came up to me after, was like, bro, I love it. I want to be on every card.
He's so cool that way.
I want Will Knight.
So crazy.
when he was yelling at me, I was scared.
It's kind of like that
But
Adrian thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like that Adrian like style, except Will is, man, he fuels his freaking furnace with the haters.
Shoveling coal.
Yeah, that's his haters just into the furnace. Dude, Will Knight, I don't know if you'll hear this because you're busy and popular. I was afraid of you, and I love you, and I want you on all our cards. And I want you to like me because I'm afraid of you.
Dude, yeah, man.
I mean, for real, his name's the Nightmare. He's 240 pounds, and he will kill me. But all jokes aside, that match was awesome. I loved the battle between the two guys. This card was awesome.
It was awesome.
I know we're pressed, but
that wraps up the card. I mean, great night. Everyone, shout outs to a few people. Steve Domenico killed it on post-fight interviews. Everyone was super happy to talk about.
Steve, pick us always.
Seriously. And I mean, every match that he did a interview with is pretty much up. He's been just boom, 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 knocking them out, and everyone's reposted them, and everyone had great things to say about the event. Thank you to our sponsors, Fight Fit, Julian Rivera, Relentless Worldwide, Jack Stapleton, Ascension Combat, which is our umbrella company. Under that, you got IGC. You have the Ascension Grappling Championships, which is our open tournament, and that's on October 1st. You can use code Ironman10 to get 10% off that. Combat Media TV, shout out to the director of photography back there, LC, Lawrence Coleman III. Killing it. You guys haven't seen anything yet. We just started this.
I just will say, if you saw that there was a camera that was blurry, that camera is faulty, and we'll be taking care of that. But, production, every event will get better. We have so many things coming in this next one. I promise we will not make the same mistake twice.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what we live by. We know we're going to make mistakes. We're okay with that. We're just going to not make them twice, correct them, and move on from there. I'm actually happy to find out that the camera was actually faulty. We didn't do anything. Everything on our side looked good. Unfortunately, even if we found that out that day, there was nothing we were going to be able to do about it. And we're talking about a new camera. So,
$1,200 camera.
We're getting
not that anyone's
warranty.
counting.
Goddamn Sony.
So
damn it.
Corporations.
Fight the corporations.
Yeah, absolutely. Last sponsor was Quantity Over Quality CBD, Mexican-owned, Latin-owned, right out of Hamden, Connecticut, I believe. Shout out to them. That was awesome coming down. Julian Rivera from Fight Fit, he has a gym in Glastonbury, Connecticut. Go check it out. He's a great black belt. He used to teach here at Ascension Athletics. So go see him. That's it, guys. That's a wrap-up for IGC4. We go on IGC5, November 5th. 145-pound women's tournament, and you got Fatima Klein, who's top 10 at 135 pounds and 125 pounds on Flow Grappling's rankings, versus Alex Wynn, who's number 8 at 115, or number 6?
7 and 8. I don't know which one's
something like top 10 as well. Those girls are gonna bring it. They're incredible. Fatima, MMA fighter. Alex focused on jiu-jitsu and claiming titles already. I think she just took one this weekend, or did she take some?
She has Midwest finishers.
Midwest finisher.
She has that title.
Yep. So awesome. Can't wait for that. November 5th, IGC5, Athena, right here at Ascension Athletics. That's all I got, fellas.
Love
Peace. Thank you.
All right, private time.
All right, start doing fucking trips.